How planets integrate into our world. Pluto, or Hades, is the god of the underworld, of death, and implicitly of transformations. He is the modern ruler of Scorpio. Pluto governs the power of money, strength, passionate desires, possessiveness, radical changes, and regeneration. Pluto's transits can sometimes take us to hell, either the one within us or the one surrounding us. The myth of Persephone is well known. She was forced to stay in Hades for part of the year, the harsh winter period, and returned on Earth to her mother Demeter when spring arrived. Pluto is a karmic planet. Plutonian transformations cannot be avoided because Pluto manipulates, keeps everything secret, and controls. Mars is the god of war, Aries, who acts quickly and bloodily. Mars is exalted in Scorpio and the classical ruler of Scorpio. Pluto and Mars are two planets labeled as malefic. We need their influence, no matter how malevolent they may seem. Pluto has entered Aquarius. It enters this sign once every 248 years. It is not its favorite sign. On the other hand, Aquarius is the rebel of the zodiac, the genius of technologies, and the initiator of large-scale popular movements. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, a representative of revolutions. Consequently, Pluto in Aquarius changes the world we live in. It will be aided by the passage of many planets into other zodiac signs in 2025. Neptune and Saturn enter Aries, Uranus enters Gemini, and Jupiter enters Cancer. We do not yet fully realize what is to come. In the USA's astrological chart, natal Pluto is positioned at 27 degrees 33 feet Capricorn. In February 2022, transiting Pluto reached the USA's natal Pluto. Transformations had already begun to be visible. The world will be the victim of the big money and undemocratic control. Also, retrograde Mars is currently transiting the USA's Sun. In a country's chart, the Sun represents the leader. At the moment, the newly elected president, Trump, has begun to implement transformative global measures forcefully, using his position, backed by the military power at his disposal. For now, these are at the level of threats, but the world is changing. Trump's objectives are directed towards the Panama Canal, Canada, Greenland, the Gulf of Mexico, China, and more recently, Gaza. Ukraine seems to be a piece of meat that needs to be divided. Europe is forgotten. The control he seeks to impose seems Plutonian, perhaps Martian, which led me to analyze these planets. Currently, Pluto is in Aquarius at 2 degrees 21 feet relative to the ecliptic, or approximately 302 degrees out of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. Practically, we find it at 58 degrees west longitude, as indicated by the geodetic chart. Retrograde Mars is found at 18 degrees Cancer on the ecliptic and at 108 degrees east on the geodetic chart. Astrocartography highlights Pluto's areas of influence, considering approximately 15 degrees represents the distance between two meridians, on either side of the indigo planetary line in the photo. The regions affected by Pluto include Greenland, Canada, the eastern part of the USA, Mexico, the Gulf of Mexico, Panama, the Caribbean, Venezuela, other South American states, and the North Atlantic Ocean. Additionally, Pluto's line crosses northern Europe, Asia, Russia, China, near Beijing, India, Indochina, and Western Australia. Surprisingly or not, these are largely the areas the American president is eager to control. On the other hand, astrocartography for Mars also highlights Greenland, Northern Europe, Ukraine, and the Middle East, namely Gaza, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and so on. Saudi Arabia is becoming important as a mediating country between the Americans and the Russians. The astrological lines for Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune intersect over Greenland and target the Middle East, much of Asia. The emerging conclusion is that Pluto in Aquarius might bring something unprecedented, seemingly chaotic but secretly planned, transformative, and of great magnitude, involving destructive colonial forces in the struggle. Mars will align with this initiative when it resumes its direct motion, February 24, 2025. It will leave Cancer, April 18, 2025, and return to an opposition with Pluto, with the desire for armed confrontation. All the heavyweight planets will bring events that the current generation has never experienced